Shri Prakash Ambedkar. Try to be brief. Lot of more speakers are there.
Mr. Vice Chairman, as we
that the car seva incident on the 6th is not going to be peaceful.
These also are from the same state.
no, you can't.
Some of the states, which I would not like to mention, have gone further and stated that the plans have been laid down. And ultimately on the 6th of December, what we saw, that the information given by the state ministers, by the state governments and the intelligence department was put into action by the RSS BJP combined. And then we find that the government is in panic. The government says that they want solidarity. I don't know what kind of solidarity do they want. I will not deal into that incident, because according to me that is past. The wishes and the mind of the people have been divided. The religious minorities in this country are feeling afraid. If you see after the 6th December incident, not even one of the minority religious leaders, except condemning it, they have come forward to give an offer that, look here government, we are ready to offer you. They are keeping silent, and I said the silence is the best answer, or silence is what they want to speak, is speaking itself. Mr. Vice Chairman, I will address myself what is laid ahead. But that's one of the most important things. Some of the honorable colleagues have referred to 6th December, why they have chosen 6th December. I find there is a rationality in it. And rationality because, let's first understand what's the RSS ideology. Because unless and until we understand the RSS ideology, we will not be in a position to achieve or to save the democracy which we want to save the nation that we want to save. And I am speaking because I am from that school of thought which has all along been fighting and resisting the forces which are represented by the RSS combined. I am not against any community. I am not against any caste. But what we have been fighting along, and what my grandfather had said in this house, in the last Constituent Assembly speech, that we are going to face a life of contradictions. He said in political arena we might have equality, but what we are concerned today is the social inequalities that continue in this country. I will not go into the incidents as to what has happened place and why they have taken the stand. But what we are fighting and what's the ideology of the RSS is basically what I call it as Brahmanism. I am not against the Brahmin community, nor I am against the power and the prestige which goes to the Brahmin community. But what I understand by Brahmanism is that Brahmanism is a negation of sovereignty, equality and brotherhood. But what's the basis of Brahmanism? The basis of Brahmanism is Manusmriti. And Manusmriti is in the heart of RSS. And the reason for choosing 6th December was that's the day on which this country laid the architect of the Constitution to rest. It's the day on which this Parliament pays homage beside the statue placed outside this Parliament. At one hand, we pay our homage. On the other hand, the RSS wanted to make the day of rejoice. This has been a contradiction, and that is why they have chosen this day. And when we think that this is the ideology and this is the ideology we have to fight, we have basically want to understand that these are anti-democratic forces. And if they are anti-democratic forces, they are not going to listen to your parliament. They are not going to listen to your courts. They are not going to listen to any sort of agreement that you are going to make. Because they want to use this parliament, this democratic process, into coming into power. I refer to what RTBR referred to as Hindu psychic. I know that has been developed. And it is true. We might be able to corner BJP in this house. But let me tell you, outside this parliament, we have been cornered by BJP. That's the reality. And that reality has come about, as I have been mentioning in this house quite often, that the generation which has born after independence has no line of thinking. They have been indoctrinated by the BJP RSS line of thinking. It's time whether the government is going to take an action or not. It's time whether the forces that they are using, the anti-Muslim stand which they are using to unite the Hindus and making the places worship places, using the worship places. May I know from the Honorable Minister whether he is going to place all the archaeological record of Ayodhya, of Varanasi, of Mathura before this house, so as to know what exactly the position is. Because unless and until we know the archaeological position, we know the archaeological decision, people are going to be carried away because there were temples. There were temples. The history mentions there were temples. And if we are not able to say what kind of temple they are, whether they are temples which belongs to Jain, whether they are temples which belong to Buddha, whether they are temples which belongs to Charvak or somebody else, unless we know that, the kind of preaching, kind of tactics which they are using, they might be able to succeed. And I appeal to the Honorable Home Ministers to see that they have been saying of Mathura and they have been saying of Kashi. The archaeological department had made a survey. That survey report should be played before the house. Sir, I come to the last part of it. Today what's the necessary is that the communities have been divided. The Hindus on one side and the Muslims on the other side are divided. There is no dialogue going on between them. We are hoping that the Prime Minister will take a lead and ask these two communities to sit together and at least bury what has happened in the past. But what we find is that nothing has been taken. If I refer to some of the speeches that have been made by the ministers, I have only one line to draw from it. If all these ministers had the information as to what was going on and what will happen, and what we hear from the press, if they are true, then we stand over here accusing the Prime Minister of being a party to what has happened on the 6th of December. I do not know what exactly the minister wants to say, or the ministers want to say, or what they want to convey. But if that is so, I feel that the Prime Minister has no option. In teachings of Buddha, there is one Angulimal who was said that whoever passes on, he was murdered. Either his finger or his head was tied round a string and he used to hang it on his head and say, look here, these are the peoples that I have killed. I am afraid that the Prime Minister is sitting on two riots, one of 1984, in which nearly 3,000 people were killed, Sikhs were killed, and today, after the 6th December, we find that nearly 2,000 people have been killed. Angulimal was kind enough and good enough, and I may say he was lucky enough to find Buddha, who preached him that humanity is most important. He left the path. I do hope that the Prime Minister will find some Buddha who will say that if the nation has to be saved, he must resign. Thank you, sir.